This is the third part from the story. The scene shifts back to Eunyoung's middle school days, where she faced isolation due to her ability to see monsters. Her friend Kung-soon, also shunned because of their parentage, shared her loneliness. Back in the present, as Eunyoung prepared to leave, she encountered Kung-soon's spirit. Though Kung-soon had passed away, he lingered, seeking solace with Eunyoung, the only one who could perceive him. Another day, Hae-min, Ra-Di, and friends planned to attend a concert. However, considering Hae-min's radius limitations, they opted for karaoke instead. Despite the change of plans, they sang joyfully, deepening Hae-min's affection for the human world. The following day, Hae-min and her friends dozed off during school hours. During the break, Eunyoung approached Hae-min to discuss a solution. She proposed stomach surgery as the way for Hae-min to become fully human. Concerned about her friends and questioning who would handle the mites, Hae-min hesitated. Eunyoung, frustrated, urged Hae-min to prioritize her own happiness. However, Hae-min requested time to ponder. The next day, Hae-min met Eunyoung again, expressing her refusal for the surgery, as she feared the consequences for her friends, and this decision upset Eunyoung. Later that evening, Eunyoung confided in Kung-soon, revealing her exhaustion with her unique existence. Despite Kung-soon's reminder to confront the situation, Eunyoung resolved to aid Hae-min further. At school, Eunyoung embarked on a mission to eliminate all the mites she found. She aimed to relieve Hae-min of her burden so that she could consider surgery without worrying about her friends. Despite being seen as peculiar by her peers, Eunyoung persisted in her efforts, hunting mites day and night. As she gathered a sizable number of mites, Eunyoung encouraged Hae-min to consume them. She believed this was the key for Hae-min to undergo surgery and attain full humanity. Later that evening, Kung-soon approached Eunyoung, prompting her curiosity about his death. Eunyoung speculated whether Kung-soon's demise was linked to his father's criminal path, but Kung-soon clarified it was an accident at work. One day, tragedy struck when an old crane fell directly on Kung-soon. Though he could have dodged it, his body seemed paralyzed, and he was struck. As Kung-soon shared his sorrowful tale, his body began to transform into a monster, prompting Eunyoung to cautiously wield her sword. Kung-soon then warned her of the danger lurking in the school and urged her to leave. Eunyoung wished she could abandon her unique abilities and the dangers they brought, but she knew she had to fight the monsters she could see. As Kung-soon's transformation worsened, he chose to depart for the afterlife, turning into ashes. On the other hand, Eunyoung, tearful, tried to hold onto his ashes, unwilling to let him go. Reflecting on their past, Eunyoung remembered Kung-soon as the first person to believe in her visions of monsters, and the one who suggested she use a sword against them. That night, Eunyoung dreamt of Kung-soon's tragic demise, seeing the old crane crushing him once again. When Eunyoung woke up from her dream, she experienced a miracle, as she couldn't see monsters anymore, and she was just an ordinary human. Yet she still wanted to aid Hae-min. After all the mites were devoured at school, Hae-min underwent successful stomach surgery, removing a monster insect from her body. With this, Hae-min no longer needed to consume mites and could embrace full humanity. Despite not seeing the monster insect, Eunyoung pretended she did when the nurse handed it to her. On their journey home from the operation, Hae-min shared insights about the Apchi stone. This stone sealed a breathing hole, granting good fortune to those who controlled it. In the past, it caused tragedy due to the monsters it spawned, leading the government to close it. However, In-pyo's grandfather transformed the pond into a school, where students' energy contributed to sealing the hole. Initially, In-pyo's grandfather collaborated with HSP, but they betrayed him. This revelation left In-pyo feeling ashamed, while Eunyoung regretted the dangerous location of the school. Unable to see monsters anymore, Eunyoung decided to resign from her duty. The following day, Won-soo and Min-nu stirred up trouble once more when they encountered the basement door, causing jelly to regrow on their heads. Eunyoung and In-pyo had previously sealed the door, but now it was open again, causing strange events ensued thereafter. Shortly after, Won-soo and Min-nu always seemed damp, with eerie smiles, as it appeared that water-shaped monsters had flooded the school. Meanwhile, Eunyoung approached In-pyo with her resignation letter, but he questioned what would become of the school and who would combat the monsters if she left. Eunyoung then pointed out that In-pyo should apologize for his grandfather's decision to construct a school in such a perilous location. After that, Eunyoung left In-pyo's. During break time, the peculiar occurrences persisted. Both students and teachers became overly sensitive, prone to easily taking offense and speaking harshly to one another. At the same time, chaos erupted among the students and teachers. Observing the unusual events unfolding, In-pyo attempted to reach out to Eun-young, but he received no response. Upon inspecting the basement, he discovered the door had been opened. Now he found himself alone, facing unseen monsters. In-pyo journeyed to Busan in search of clues regarding the Il-kwang sterilization, but his efforts proved fruitless. Following his grandfather's passing, In-pyo was tasked with maintaining the basement, which required cleaning every 6 months by the Il-kwang sterilization team. Unfortunately, they had been unreachable for a year, leading to the ongoing anomalies. Meanwhile, Eun-young, feeling bored without her powers, came across news about the school's troubles on TV. Deeply troubled by the student casualties, she resolved to investigate further. Visiting the HSP office, and she discovered Wasu's involvement, learning that Wasu was the leader of the Il-kwang sterilization team they had been seeking. Shocked and angered by this revelation, Eun-young confronted Wasu, questioning why she had concealed her identity and why she had urged her to work at the troubled school. Wasu then explained that since In-pyo's grandfather's death, HSP had been obstructing the Il-kwang sterilization team's access to the basement, and sending Eun-young to the school was an attempt to resolve the situation and find a way to regain access to the basement. Wasu then urged Eun-young to stay at the school a little longer, as the necessity of sealing the breathing hole to prevent disaster. Disheartened, Eun-young initially chose to leave. However, unable to ignore the situation, she returned to the school at night, persuading In-pyo to accompany her. She then proposed reopening the breathing hole to expose the school's unsuitability, prompting its closure. However, before proceeding, In-pyo questioned whether Eun-young would abandon him once the deed was done, considering her inability to see monsters. Eun-young reassured him of her commitment. Shortly after, they moved the Apchi stone, triggering an earthquake upon opening the breathing hole. Suddenly, Eun-young's ability to perceive monsters returned, startling her and prompting her to flee from In-pyo, who became angered by her actions and pursued her. It turns out Eun-young didn't mean to abandon In-pyo. She fled momentarily to retrieve her sword. With In-pyo's boundless energy, they teamed up to eliminate all the monsters, leading to the school's destruction. Several months later, the school was reconstructed, with a revamped management structure. With the absence of monsters, the school functioned smoothly, and Eun-young resumed her role as a nurse there, content to contribute positively with her special ability. This is the end from the third part of the story. Moral lesson from the story: the best solution to make people become human is to just let people be themselves, even if it means they have monster bugs inside them. So, next time you want to help a friend, maybe just offer them a snack instead.